Hello, I am Nigel Thompson, Chair of the Canadian Society of Immigration Consultants Board of Directors. Today I want to speak to you, members of the general public, CSIC members, and students about an important development. On Friday, March 18th, Immigration Minister Jason Kenney proposed the transfer of CSIC's regulatory authority to another group. We are saddened and surprised that the government has put over 1,900 accredited consultants, hundreds of students, and 38 CSIC staff members into limbo. CSIC continues to firmly believe that it should remain the regulator of immigration consultants because we are in the best position to protect the best interests of consumers. Rather than leverage CSIC's extensive infrastructure and expertise, the government has now decided to designate a third party with no regulatory experience as a regulator of immigration consultants in Canada. It could be years before this group can build up the regulatory sophistication that CSIC has today. It has come to our attention that a number of messages have been circulated to CSIC members since Minister Kenney's announcement of the proposed change. It is important to understand that the process of changing the regulations is complex and involved. The required change to the regulations will not come into effect until they are republished in Part 2 of the Canada Gazette. The path to publishing in Part 2 of the Gazette requires that several steps be taken along the way. The first step is a 30-day public consultation period that began on March 19, 2011. The regulations may or may not change. In the meantime, CSIC remains the regulator. As such, it will continue to carry out its regulatory functions with a view to protecting consumers of immigration consulting services. CSIC reminds members that they must continue to maintain their membership in good standing and adhere to CSIC's rules, policies, and bylaws. Most importantly, I would like to remind everyone that CSIC membership is required in order for an immigration consultant to be recognized by the Canadian government. Last spring, Immigration Minister Jason Kenney announced a process to review the regulatory framework, and in December, CSIC submitted a bid detailing why we should remain the regulator. We maintain that replacing CSIC would be disruptive to the immigration process for tens of thousands of consumers, to over 1,900 members of CSIC, and to the CSIC staff who ensure the smooth enforcement of CSIC's professional standards, discipline, and accreditation. Furthermore, Minister Kenney proposes spending $1 million of Canadian taxpayer money to set up a new regulator from scratch. The $30 million which CSIC members have contributed to the growth of their profession since 2004 will effectively be lost. We question whether this decision is in the best interest of consumer protection or of the profession. As Chair of the Canadian Society of Immigration Consultants Board of Directors, I assure you that we, along with senior management, are strategizing around how to move forward through this difficult time with the best interests of members, students, and consumers guiding our actions. I commit to keep you all up to date, so please watch for future video announcements. Thank you.